Good Saturday morning, and welcome to another exciting edition of Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And yes, this is third Saturday, and he is here. Happy New Year. Hadn't seen him since last year. Good morning, Frank Barton.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, everyone.
And Frank, I haven't been. My waders are still in the box. My Frog Togs waders. I look at them every day and said they'll be good next year. So I did buy new waders, and I'll make a picture of that and send it to you. But anyway, Frank is here. We'll talk a little waterfowl with Frank, of course. And then, of course, the webmaster himself is over there, Guy Trevo. Good morning, Guy.
Morning, Larry. How are you?
I am been better, but I'm doing okay. So, and the man next to Guy has made my day. And he makes memories. That's what this guy does. He's a memory maker. And I don't mean that because he works in law enforcement, but he makes memory for those people, too, I'm sure. But my man, Vic Thayer, Jr. Good morning, Vic.
Good morning. How are y'all?
I am doing good, and Vic
Great.
has brought in something we're going to talk about on the show because Vic has a talent that he'll take someone's deer like mine and he makes memories out of those deer, and I'm looking at it right now, and it's really cool. You'll be able to go to LarryRay.com and see the picture of me and Vic with what he does, and we're going to talk to Vic about that. But we are kind of wrapping up things, y'all. This is you think a busy time because we're wrapping up the waterfowl season. Right, Frank? We're in the final stages, right?
2 weeks.
2 weeks to go, and so we'll talk to Frank a lot about that. We're also in 2025, which is a special year for Outdoors with Larry Ray as we roll into our 25th year on the air. And the webmaster himself over there at LarryRay.com has kept us all up to date on that. And again, we want to welcome two new sponsors for this year. That's Ducks Unlimited and also B&M Poles. And I will say, and I know that the folks at B&M Poles down in West Point, Mississippi, we had Jack Wells on the show last week, and I find out that I go to church with somebody that went to high school with Jack Wells. Now, at Tupelo High School, and so he's listening to the show, and that's Avon Durham, and Avon tells me at church Wednesday night, said, hey, you had one of my classmates on. And I said, well, who? Jack Wells. And anyway, we appreciate Jack and all the good folks at B&M Poles, and that stands for what, Guy Trevo?
Larry, that stands for brooms and mops.
There you go. You remembered from last week.
I got it backwards last week, too.
You did, but that's okay. B stands for brooms. M stands for mops, okay? And that's how they got started in that. But again, also thank you for them. Thank you for the TWRA is coming back again. Appreciate all the good folks at the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, and they're back for a sponsor. And if you would like to be a sponsor, this is a special year. You can still be a sponsor of Outdoors with Larry Ray, whether it's the website or the show. Just go to LarryRay.com, and Guy Trevo has got a link up there where you can click on that and get all the information about being a member of Outdoors with Larry Ray. And of course, we're going to kick off the show just in a few minutes. Our first guest. And that's Terry Denmon, the Hall of Famer himself from Mojo Outdoors, the people that invented the what? Does anybody know what Mojo, Frank, what did they invent?
Spinning wings.
Spinning wings decoys.
Spinning wings, spinners.
And Terry and all of his group is heading out to Las Vegas for the SHOT Show. And they've got some new products that kind of blew my mind when I realized what they've got. So we'll talk to Terry in the next segment about what's coming up from Mojo Outdoors. And they did. That was a real big deal, man. It still is. I mean, but that made so much publicity, right? You remember that, Vic, when they all came out? And
not only did they do ducks, they've already went with dove and
oh, yeah. And he's got some
other game birds. Yeah.
Other game birds like that. And he's got some new products that are pretty cool. And then we're going to Ames Plantation, one of my favorite places. If you have never been to Ames Plantation, you need to go out there and just visit it. There's so much history at Ames. Of course, it's a UT field office out there. And we all know it from the National Bird Dog Championships, which is getting ready to roll out here in February. So we're going to talk to Matt Backus. He is the superintendent or the director at the UT field office there at Ames Plantation. He'll give us an update on the National Bird Dog Championship and also Tall Timbers Management Agreement and also the new Wolf River State Forest, which is part of Ames Plantation. Then Vic's going to tell us about this, how he got into what he does. Not law enforcement, we can do that too. But we're going to talk about what he does. And you, if I had to tell somebody what you do, simple terms, tell them what you do.
Art.
Art. That's exactly right. Now, he doesn't use it with a brush. He's not painting. He's not drawing. What do you do artistically, young man?
Well, I am a licensed taxidermist, and what I do now is just Euro mounts.
That's it.
Just skulls.
Just skulls.
All kind of species. I've done them from alligators to bears to antelope to elk to whitetail. Haven't done anything domestic or human yet.
Yeah, I can remember when I went to a taxidermist over in Patterson, Arkansas out there, and I think it was Patterson. Anyway, it was right over the other side of Wynn, back up that way on the highway, and his sign says, "We don't do humans."
That's it.
And I can remember. But
There's some I would like to do sometimes.
You would
but
like to do that, yeah.
Got to refrain from doing that.
But mainly, he did a lot of domestic critters.
They do,
that people
yeah.
want to keep in their lives.
Yes.
You know. So, but anyway, so we'll talk to Vic about that, and then Arkansas has just completed another successful elk hunt. Man, they had 20 elk. I think there were 11 bulls and 9 antlerless, and including some 7x7s and 6x7s. Amazing. So we're going to talk to Randy Zellers of the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, get a recap on that. And Frank, we've saved the last segment, something close to you. Who we got on that last segment, Frank?
We have Jeff Kollath, the executive director for the Sultana Historical Preservation Society Museum. It's a mouthful, I know.
And it's coming along good, right?
We're coming along with it, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff's, we're making headway, and he have a good report for everybody.
Yeah, because you're getting a lot of people are coming in now. Well, the construction is going on in downtown Marion at the old Marion High School gym, right? I mean, some of that area there.
Correct.
I think my wife might have played basketball there. I don't know. Anyway, Jeff's going to be in the last segment. This is kind of a fun show today with Vic in, Frank in, and there's so much going on right now. Shelby McCall, of course, is our show producer, but we have a lot going on. The end of the duck season. I know my good friend Billy Montague. I talked to him. He is booked up, buddies, on the weekends right till the end of the rabbit season, and that's February 28th. But he does have some open dates in the week. But I know President's Day is wrapped up. He's got most of his Saturdays and Sundays wrapped up. So if you're looking for a rabbit hunt, and he'll go where you are, or he'll set that up. That's Billy Montague, and you can go to LarryRay.com and click on that link of looking at the beagles on there. Isn't that right, guy? And get the information about Billy. So we got that. Squirrel season still going on. We got it in the waterfowl season that we said is going on now. We're getting close to the boat show. The boat show's coming up. The second weekend in February at the Agri Center, all the seminars are filled. I couldn't believe it. I got the seminars filled almost a month before the boat show. They're all staggered out. They can't believe it. That all the seminars are filled, and that's all part of your ticket to the boat show. I keep saying this is going to be my last one.
You do keep saying that.
And I keep doing it, right?
You have so far.
Well, I'm going to be out there some, do the seminars, but I'm going to start cutting back a little bit. But I appreciate Mark Lovell and all of his family and Mr. C and all those. But got some great seminars coming up out there. So that's coming up. But the main thing right now is the cold weather's coming up.
Coming back.
It's coming back. Now, what does that mean, Frank?
Means everything's going to freeze up again.
It is, doesn't it? Yeah.
We just now
unfroze.
it's just now getting thawed out.
Yeah. And now when we get down to 14,
It'll freeze up again.
it'll freeze up again.
We'll be we use the phrase, it's locked up tighter than Dick's hat band.
I've heard that before. That's not an old Arkansas one, is it? Get that at Bell Buckle.
I don't remember where I got that one from.
But it is all locked up, and it will be. I mean, come in there tomorrow. The front is coming through right now today, and then tomorrow, the highs in the 20s on Monday and Tuesday. And
that's the highs.
That's the highs.
The high's not even in. The high's not above freezing.
No,
27.
Yeah, and
25 and 27.
And when they put in that
high.
small percentage of wintry, I get nervous on that. You know.
Well, I talked to my good buddy TWRA officer Andy Tweed. And
Yes.
He had told me that it appears that this next Thursday we possibly can see more than what we had this past Friday.
You can go now, Vic.
Or week before last.
Yeah. Oh man, but I will say that was a pretty snow. I think we handled that pretty well because we didn't have the ice beforehand and everything like that. Did you hunt during that, Frank? Did y'all get out?
I did not. We were frozen up.
So
locked up.
It was locked up, frozen,
It was locked
solid.
up. Yeah.
That's the reason why I said even though you weren't able to hunt, I was trying to tell you you're not missing anything.
I'm not missing anything.
Because I did not go.
You did not go.
Mm-mm.
The dogs just stayed warm.
I kept them warm. Yeah.
The word.
I've got pictures of my nephew and my son went out on that Saturday.
Yeah, that's right. The snow. Right.
The pictures were not very good.
They weren't.
I mean, it was white on the trees. Everything was. I mean, there was ice all in the water out where they were. They said they broke up a hole, and that's never a good thing.
Well,
if you have to break it up.
There's problems with getting there too, you know, and leaving there too.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I'm going to say one thing before we take our first break. Just be prepared, right? I mean, dress right if you're going. Think right. One mistake is all you need, and we don't want that to happen. All right, let's take our first break of the morning. Full house in here. Shelby McCall taking care of us. Let's take our first break on the morning with Outdoors with Larry Ray. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we roll into our 25th year on the air. Frank Barton is in here on the third Saturday as a co-host. And, Frank, I know you're interested in what this next guy's got to talk about.
Anything has to do with waterfowl gets my attention. Waterfowl and dogs.
That's what Frank cares about. And, well, he's going to talk a lot about waterfowl. I know that. And he's also going to talk about the upcoming SHOT Show out in Vegas. But we want to know where the ducks are. And if anybody can tell us that's Terry Denmon, our good friend from Mojo Outdoors. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Larry. Great to be here. You guys do such a good job. We're always happy to be on your show.
Buddy, you've been on it a long time. We've been on this thing, and as Frank was talking about, it seems like yesterday, that the spinning wing decoys, and that's all we talked about. I think we talked to Terry about it every week, just seemed like back in those days. But Terry, of course, with Mojo, and they're headed to the SHOT Show. But let's talk, Terry, because the SHOT Show, a lot of people, I always used to go. Of course, my days have gotten a little shorter now and everything. But it's a big deal, and you guys are really going to use this event in Vegas to really showcase some new stuff. I'm really excited about some of your new products. Tell our listeners what's going on.
Well, you're right. SHOT Show starts next Tuesday. We'll head there early morning or early Monday morning, and stock our booth up. But it'll start early Tuesday morning. It's not a public show, though. The public can't get in this. It's an insider trader show, and so all the media comes, all the big box brands come, the buyers come, that type of people come, to look over new products. That's where the first time we display new products, in a mass type setting. So, it's a hard week's worth of work, but it's a heck of a show to go to. I read a statistics not too many years ago said if you use every minute of the 4 days it's open, you'd have 4.5 minutes per booth.
Per booth, 4.5 minutes. All right.
So you got to target something when you go there. You never see the whole show.
And I know that as we talked to Terry Denham here, I noticed the 25th anniversary. That's going along with us. I mean,
I just heard you say that a while ago. So congratulations on your 25th anniversary.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And so let's roll out the silver mallard. I'm really the collector's edition. Talk about that first, Terry.
Well, we actually made some Mojo mallards in 1999, but we wasn't an organized company. So the first year of our organized company was the year 2000.
Yep.
That makes 25 our 25th anniversary.
That's right.
So we said, let's do something special, And special to me didn't mean making an expensive decoy. Let's make a really good decoy that everybody can afford to buy.
There you go,
so
Frank.
that's what we made. We made a brand new decoy. It's never been on the market. It's going to be a silver mallard for 1 year only, year 25, and we may use that body again. But for the silver mallard, it'll be on the year for 25 only. It's got a Mojo 25th anniversary plaque built into it.
All right.
It's got a fantastic new body. It's got all new inside, guts and all that other stuff. But probably the most interesting thing about it, Larry, is every one of them is going to have a sequentially numbered leg band.
Okay.
We bought this leg band from the same company that makes them for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, so it look just like the one you collect out in the field if you collect one.
Yeah.
And we're going to use those numbers to do lottery draws all year long in 25.
Wow.
We're going to do a lottery draw.
Okay.
It's got a barcode. It's got a QC code on the inside. You need to. When you open it up, you need to scan that, and that enters you in the lottery right then.
Good.
And then every time we draw a number, we'll announce it and give people a certain amount of time. We're going to give away a lot of good product.
Oh man, that's a silver mallard, but you've got some other ones here I'm really enthused about. And my man over here, Vic Thayer, he's in law enforcement, and he's just mounted a Euro mount for my deer that I killed back in December, and he said, well, y'all don't just do mallards and things like that. And then I saw on there, not only are you going to introduce the Mojo Dabbler, the Big Blade, and the Mojo Greenwing, but you're going to throw in the new Dove Game Bucket, too, in there, Terry. Is that right?
We are. A couple of years ago, we brought out a Dove belt.
Yes.
And it was a hit, so then we made a Dove bucket. This is Chuck Smart's pet project,
Chuck,
so he can talk about it a whole lot better than I did. But we just sat down and said, okay, if a guy's going duck hunting, or not a guy, if a person's going duck hunting, dove hunting, what do they need to take with them? And we started making a list of it. And nowadays, most people that dove hunt are going to take a Mojo Dove.
They are. That's right.
We appreciate that, and we're lucky for that to happen to us. So we got a belt on the outside of it rigged up to take, your ammo. Got a special pocket for ammo.
Yeah.
Got a special pocket for a Mojo Dove. Got a special pocket for the static dove, the double flickers, and other things too. Just everything you need dove on is not Mojo. So we try to make it as useful as we possibly could.
I think you have, and I kind of browsed through that because I didn't want to forget these other ones. The Big Blade, that's I saw where it's a recreation of the original phenomenon of the duck hunting world. That's right.
It is, and that might be the most interesting product that
talk
we've brought
about
out in the last few years. But the spinning wing concept was developed in the state of California. A lot of people give Mojo credit for that, but we did not do that.
Okay.
And the first product they had out there was just one big blade, dark on one side, white on the other. They turned it with a motor.
Yeah.
And it was the very first thing happened. It was a phenomenal. A guy named Mac Bride got a patent on that. They called it the goalpost decoy because he had that blade mounted between two uprights. It looked like a football goal. Goalpost,
Yes, I remember.
And it was a hit. The rest of the country doesn't know a whole lot about that, but that's still very popular in California. But they just kind of make them out there.
Yeah.
And so people kept saying, "Why don't you bring one out? Why don't you bring one out?" So we developed one. And it's got modern technology on it, and it's a big. There's a buzz going on in California about it now.
It is.
We're going to have to do a little educational program for the people in the rest of the country, except right there in your area, Larry, on Real Foot Lake.
Oh yeah.
They own to the concept, which are quite a few people in the United States now that these bigger blades, have an advantage over regular blades in a lot of different conditions. They run in big blades up there now. They cutting big blades out of coroplast and attach them to our Mojo mallards today,
And it's
so
big blade.
We got this big blade.
And that's what it's called. That's pretty simple, Terry. I can understand the reason on that big blade. And then you got the Mojo Dabbler and you got the Mojo Greenwing. That's two other products, right?
That's right. I'll touch the green wing first, but we made a green wing back in the early years, and we didn't make it to hunt teal with. We caught, after several years, we figured out the faster you turn these blades, the more attracted ducks are to them. So we were trying to build a decoy with what me and Mike Morgan, you remember Mike Morgan, what me and Mike Morgan named Super Fast Wings. And we needed a small wing, so we made a small decoy out of it. But actually, we used it for mallard hunting, and we've had that thing. It's been one of our most popular products.
And still
but
is.
Its technology was getting behind the curve, so let's upgrade that thing. So we've upgraded it. It's got the emergency wire in it. It's got it's remote ready with the plug-in remote. It's got most everything the big ducks have got in it.
Amazing. So, when we talk about these, Terry, and again, we're visiting with Terry Denmon, our good friend from Mojo Outdoors, and he's out in West Texas right now, heading to the SHOT Show in Vegas, and is kind enough to drop in on Outdoors with Larry Ray. He's been a supporter of this show, Terry. You and Chuck and Mike before that. We kind of go along in our histories together putting this show out, and you guys keep up with a lot of things. And Frank, being my duck man right here, he's asking where the ducks were. So we asked Terry before we got out on the air on this Saturday morning here in Memphis, and all you folks are out there. You're in the final 2 weeks of the season here and there. And Terry actually told us where he thought they were. Tell us, Terry.
That's a big question this year, and this is one of the most unusual years I've seen in all my years of doing this.
There you go, Frank.
They're not up north and they're not down south, so where they're at?
Where are they?
But they're actually in about the Oklahoma, Missouri, maybe North Arkansas line.
Okay.
We hunted Oklahoma about 3 weeks ago. We had tons of geese, not very many ducks, but that guy's been calling us for about a week now, saying, "Look, the mallards moved in. I got thousands of mallards."
That's where they are, Frank. Frank. What do you want to say, Frank? You want to tell Terry that?
They're just not at Bruin's Plantation, Arkansas, which they ought to be right now.
Which they ought to be.
But if they're in Oklahoma, then I'm optimistic.
You're optimistic.
They were 2 days ago.
2 days ago, Frank. There you go.
That's kind of like you should have been here yesterday.
Well, now what?
But an interesting point, Larry, is I think ducks move around a lot more than they did some years ago, because they come down south, they go back north, and it gets hot down there, they go back north. Back north. Our farm, I got a farm that's not too far from the famous Catahoula Lake in North Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
And it's an ancestral duck hole.
Yeah.
And it's filled up with ducks about 3 times this year, and they stayed 3 or 4 or 5 days and left. Then we'd have no ducks. And then
See there, Frank?
come along, it'd fill up with ducks again. Then they left again, so... That's not normal. We haven't seen that to this extent in the past. So,
well, Terry, we know
funny going on with the migration.
We know that duck hunters are not normal anyway. I mean, because
of course not. Yeah.
We're all optimistic. We're always optimistic.
What do you mean not normal?
I mean, we're always optimistic, right?
Well, there's nobody more optimistic than a duck hunter.
What Terry's trying to say? What, Terry?
I said him on the show this morning. I've said it before. If you're not an eternal optimist, don't take up duck hunting.
There he goes, the man from Mojo Outdoors telling you that and everything. All right, Terry, before we let you go and get ready for a SHOT Show, we want to talk to you maybe after SHOT Show down the road a little bit, Terry, too. You're always good for Outdoors with Larry Ray. But tell our listeners out there how they can find out more information about these new products and the 25th anniversary of Mojo Outdoors.
All our new products along with our existing product, go to MojoOutdoors.com.
That's it, folks, and we'll have that on Outdoors with Larry Ray, all these new products that they got featured. Terry Denham, thank you, buddy. Always a great chance to talk waterfowl with you, buddy.
Enjoyed talking with y'all.
Safe travels, Terry. We're 2 guys just left for Oklahoma. They'll be back after a couple of days. See you, Terry. Be safe.
All right, man.
All right, buddy. Bye. Terry Denham. Well, there you go. They're in Oklahoma. Why they want to be in Oklahoma, I don't know.
Well, he's right and I'm right. He knows where they are, and I know where they're not. They're not in Bruin's Plantation.
They're not in Bruin's Plantation.
Not in Bruin's Plantation.
Well, neither are you right now because it's froze up, as you said.
Today we're thawed today.
Oh, it's thawed today.
But we will be frozen tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
For the next 4 or 5
All right, let's take a break.
Thank you for asking.
We'll be right back, and we're going to head out to Ames Plantation on this next segment. Be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. As we switch gears a little bit from waterfowl hunting to one of my favorite places. I guess when I became outdoor editor at the Commercial Appeal in 1988, one of the first places I was sent on assignment was that Henry Reynolds sent me out to Ames Plantation. He said, "You got to know all about these dogs, man." I said, "I know what a dog is. You can pet him and he wags his tail and things like that." No, these are special dogs when they come to the National Bird Dog Championship. It's history in the making. So I said, we got to get an update from Matt Backus. He is the you are the director. Is that your title, Matt? I always got kind of confused. Director? All right.
The director of the Ames Plantation, yes, sir.
Okay, and I know it used to be superintendent back in the old days because I had trouble spelling superintendent, but I was set straight by Jimmy Bryant and some of those other people back then. But Matt has been part of the family at Ames, not just when he became the man chosen to replace our good friend Rick Carlisle last year, but he's been out there at Ames before that. And, Matt, I know there's a lot of things going on. Well, we've been reading about stuff that's going on at Ames, and I'd like to really tackle, if we could, before we get to the Bird Dog Championship, which is coming up. It's kicking off that Monday the what? February the what?
February 10th.
February 10th. Always on the second Monday in February,
Monday.
right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about some things that have developed over there, Matt, and you being the director, I know that place is close to your heart, but let's talk about first the Tall Timbers Management Agreement. Tell our listeners what that is.
So Tall Timbers literally wrote the Quail Management Handbook. They're located in Tallahassee and adjoining areas in the Red Hills down in South Georgia and North Florida. And they kind of set the standard on what wild quail habitat management should be.
Okay.
They have a big presence in the Red Hills, a couple 100,000 acres among all the different plantations, big presence in Texas. They're kind of moving up the eastern seaboard, but they don't really have anything in the Mid-South. And when they kind of got to thinking about their quail outreach and extension and, trying to make that happen, the logical fit for the Mid-South was going to be Ames Plantation,
right.
Not only because of the history, but we're such a large land base that we can apply all of their metrics that they want to, and then really in 5 or 10 years we'll be able to bring people out and show them what you can do with the efforts. And
when you say large, I'm still thinking 18,600 acres. Is that close, or is that still what we talk about?
Well, technically we're about 13,000 now with the Wolf River State Forest.
I'm coming to it. Okay, okay.
Yes,
a lot of large area. And so
Yes,
the agreement with Tall Timbers, it's undergoing now. Is it already started, Matt? And
we're sourcing some equipment and making relationships with partners that we're going to be using.
Okay.
But as soon as the national championship ends, we're going to start fires on the field trial course to get started doing everything we need to do.
It's going to be a big part of Ames, and I know the new Wolf River State Forest, Matt, that didn't catch a lot of us surprise, but I know that's a valuable part of Ames. Talk about that new state forest.
Yeah, so back when a couple years ago when that land was decided to be put up for sale, the state had keen interest in it, and they went through the conservation fund to secure a grant to basically fund the majority of the fund, and then through a whole lot of collaboration through various state agencies, we were able to get it done. I got the grant this past December, and we finalized right before Christmas.
That's amazing. How many acres is that now? What are you talking about?
It's about 5,477 is what sold.
Okay, that's and that's the heart of Ames too, isn't it?
It's on the northwest side. It's probably the most pristine hardwood stands you'll find anywhere. It's a really, really good piece of land.
I know it hit a lot of folks, and it didn't surprise us, but there's so much that goes on. A lot of people don't realize that y'all don't just have a bird dog championship every year in February. It is. Tell us what Ames is basic. What's basic Ames for Ames? Because I know we go back to the Ames Foundation. with in the Manor House. There's so much history there. But Ames functions as a part of the University of Tennessee, right, man?
Sure. First and foremost, we're a research and education center. We want to promote the university's mission of outreach and collaboration with all of our fellow universities, as well as interstate and faculty at the state level. So that's first and foremost. But we do have about 2,000 acres of row crops. We have the third oldest herd of registered Angus cattle in the entire country. Mr. Herbert Ames brought those over.
Wow.
Third.
Yeah.
1913.
Wow.
Okay.
But then again, we got the big event coming up, and we're going to talk to Matt hopefully before the big event comes up on the 10th of February. This year is a little different, Matt. You kind of took over after Rick retired and moved into that position. And this year we got 3 new judges. I was looking at the judges here. Richie Robertson, who I knew from, if I'm not mistaken, that was he's competed in this thing, and he was out from Idaho or someplace. He was always one of the dog. What was his? My man's going blank for us. He wasn't a pointer. He had. He
was a setter. Yeah,
he was a setter man. That's right. Rich Robertson, Bill Mason, and Greg Bain. And I was looking at some of these other things here. For the first time ever, there are German short-hair pointers who have qualified. Now, there's getting some movement in the studio right now when I said German pointer. Do we expect to have any of those entered?
We have 2. There's a gentleman from out west. I guess he won a couple of derbies or in California. So yes, we will have 2. I think we confirmed it Thursday or Friday.
So right now, I mean, we're still putting this thing together, but I've heard all sorts of numbers. 60, 70 dogs. What's the? I know that my friend Frank Barton's wanting to know this. How many do you project right now?
I think we'll probably be in that 60 range, Larry.
That's
our
amazing.
archivist, Steeple Bell, has put together kind of a tentative number of
60
qualified dogs.
Yeah.
And he's at 74 right now. So.
Wow.
And they're still coming in.
And, of course, that doesn't mean they're going to compete.
Right.
But we get down to it, and you're going to have that many dogs, and you run 4 dogs a day.
That's over 2 weeks.
That's over 2 weeks. Frank's got his calculator out there. Did a good job, Frank. That's 2 weeks out of the year for Ames, right? You have to.
Yes, sir.
What is? Can you handle that many?
Well, we're going to try. So when the board met, last summer, that was we mulled it over. How can we inject enthusiasm into the sport but still maintain some form of stability? And we just said, let's see what happens.
Well,
we can always crank it down a little bit to hone in on ideally 40 to 50 dogs would be perfect.
And I think we've had as small as 20 something. I don't know. We've had in a low number, and still you're all dictated by weather. Because all dictated by weather. I'm just glad you're not running next week. Okay, Matt?
Yes, sir.
I don't think you'd be running next week. The little paws would have to have stockings on or something along that line. Again, we're talking to Matt Backus. He is the director of our good folks out at Ames Plantation. We're talking about, and what year is this, Matt, for the national championship?
The 126th.
126. That's longer than me. Yeah, well, that's a long time. And this event you don't put this on overnight, right, Matt? This is something that you got to do, put together. But it is the World Series. It's the World Series, the Super Bowl of what you do. Now, Frank, you're a dog man over there. Now, this event, have you been to this event, Frank?
It is on my bucket list.
It's on his bucket list, Matt, and I wanted him to say that. You're going to come by and pick me up and take me out there?
If that's what it takes to get me to go, you bet.
I will.
I'll
go if you'll go.
Okay.
I don't mean just the last day now.
Oh, no.
I ain't riding no horse. Matt knows that. It's already been told that. I only ride the horse in front of Kroger.
We can't. I have to ride a horse now.
Huh?
We got to ride a horse.
No, I ain't riding a horse. We don't want to let you go double. Okay? Now, side saddle, maybe. Matt.
Maybe get a buggy.
Hey, I got a bad experience on horses out there. I think they set me up one time. Matt might have heard all the stories about me, but they could write a book about me in the championship out there. But, man, I know that we want to get back with. So now, are you going to post this on the website? Is it going to be some stuff put up pretty soon on the website?
Yes, sir. So we got about 2 weeks left. The entries close on the 3rd of February.
Okay.
And we'll know
Okay.
really close about how many we'll have. There's a couple of trials that run after February 3rd that could potentially qualify, 1 or 2 more dogs, but by and large, we'll know pretty close to what we're going to have at the, right after 1st of February.
What about the birds? The birds going to be there, man?
So we had a trial, the Ames Amateur.
Yeah.
We contacted 71 cubbies in 4.5 days.
Ah.
And the Hobart Ames we ran last week, and I think that snow that we got kind of knocked them back. But there's still birds out there.
There's still birds out there. Birds. There you go. Frank likes to hear that. I know that. Well, Matt, thank you, buddy, for being with us. Go to Ames Plantation. What is that website again, Matt?
It's amesplantation.org.
That's it, folks. And you get all the history about this great event and all the great work that they do at Ames. I got some great memories. I could write a book about it, probably, some of my memories out there. Matt, thank you, man, for taking time, and we'll stay in touch, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Matt Backus. And that's no easy job, buddy, being the director at Ames Plantation. There's stuff going on, not only this UT, but 70 dogs, and Frank's figured it up for me. 2 weeks, 5 days. That's without weather developments. 4 dogs a day at 8 and 1. And so it's something to see, Frank. So we'll go out there and watch because just to see them take off, and then you can get on your horse and go and pick me up when you come back after your ride.
Well, I need you to tell me what's going on.
Well,
I need an interpreter.
I will.
I interpret a retriever event.
I'll be talking to you on the phone.
I'll need you to interpret this for me.
All right, get me a side saddle. All right, let's take a break. Come right back, and he's coming here. He's ready to talk about what he does, and we got a presentation here. We're going to have it all posted on LarryRay.com. Right, Guy Trebo?
Yep.
All right, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. As I've said that thousands of times over the last 25 years. And this is Third Saturday. Frank Barton is in the studio all the way from over in East Arkansas. Thank you, Frank, for being here. And Guy Trebo, our webmaster, is sitting over making notes or doing the lottery. I don't know. But we have another special guest in the studio, and I'm glad that Vic Thayer could drop by. Of course, the Thayer family and the Ray family goes back a long, long time from our 27 years of living on Alpharee in Bartlett before we moved to Germantown. Our son Jason grew up there, and about a block away was the Thayer compound, with Vic and his dad, Vic Sr., Valinda, and all in law enforcement. And I think I remember you telling me that Valinda's now, is she in Millington? Is she
retired from Memphis, and she's now in Millington. Yes.
Now in Millington.
Mm-hmm.
And you are with the Shelby County?
I am with the Shelby County Courts. I'm a warrants officer for Shelby County.
Yeah. And the thing about it, Vic has as he says, he's got a talent, man. It's an art. Now, I've got a big deer mounted in my office of what I call the 11-15 deer buck that I killed at Ames Plantation back in those glory days. And I thought that Alan Houston was going to pick me up at 9:30, and at 11 o'clock I'm still in that old Apache stand of his, and I'm getting bottom burned. I was ready to go home, and then all of a sudden that 8-point walked out and made a memory. And then Vic was just relaying some memories he had of the hunting club out there that a lot of us were part of. And Vic was just telling the story there about 2 8-points in 2 days. And before we get into the what you do, finish that story, because that was a pretty cool story. So you came back the next morning.
Right after I'd shot the deer. I shot one and just
archery.
No, this was during gun.
Oh, during the gun season. Okay. All right.
And a hot doe came out. Buck was chasing it. I shot at the buck on a run, and the buck rolled. And got up and kept going.
Yeah.
All right. Another buck came out behind it, running, chasing that same hot doe. Well, I shot it. Next morning, I go back and get in the same stand.
Yeah.
Same doe comes out. That same first 8 point comes out. Well,
Yeah.
I shoot at it, and it turns and runs behind me and runs off in a huge ravine. I mean, a ditch.
Huge.
And yeah, Ames is known for some deep ditches up
Yeah.
there. So it ran off in it, so it was just me and my dad up there hunting. So it was a struggle to get that deer out.
I can imagine. Yeah.
The next weekend, we're back up there hunting. My dad's about 300 yards off from me in the woods.
Yeah.
He shoots and kills one, and the deer ran in the same ditch.
Same ditch. You got to get 2 deer out in the same ditch in 2 days.
In a week. No, in a week.
In a week.
In a week.
Okay.
But there were some fond memories up there at Grand Junction.
Well, you got them, and you're making memories now. Vic, talk about how you got into this, because and explain what a Euro mount is for our people out there maybe not familiar with it, and then I'll get into details a little bit later.
Well, a Euro mount, it's nothing more than just your basic skull mount.
Okay.
It has no hide or hair on it.
Yeah.
It's just the bone.
Yeah.
Been doing it now for about 15 years. Really enjoy it. And what I like the most about it is being able to talk to the people on how they killed their deer.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
Especially these young kids.
Yeah.
You know, the next generation coming up, because, boy, their eyes light up when they tell the story about the deer that they killed.
And old people, too, Vic.
Well, I guess.
I'm one of those. Okay.
But no, Larry did bring me a deer this year. He was fortunate enough to kill a nice 8 point.
Yes, I was.
And he was going to get a Euro mount done on
Yeah.
it. Well, obviously the person that cut the deer head off did not understand that he wanted a Euro mount and not just a horn mount.
Yeah, right.
So it's just capped. So I had to do an old school
You did.
mount on this, but I added a little something to it. I put a white tail
Yeah, you did.
tail behind the horns
Yes.
to kind of offset it a little bit and make it, kind of unique.
And that's part of the, you're making memories, Vic.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know when someone kills, what do you recommend? How do they get it to you, and what do they need to do to do it the way normally would done? You've taken that and made a memory out of it.
Sure.
But at the same time, the Euro mount itself, tell how when they bring it to you, what's it supposed to be like? What is it?
As far as what's it supposed to be like, as far as
I mean, when they kill the deer and they say, I want to get a Euro mount.
Sure.
So
Well,
what do
just-
they do?
They just cut the head off of it.
Okay.
About 3 to 4 inches below the jaw.
Okay. All right.
Because I also work with TWRA doing CWD
You
testing
do,
on the
yes.
lymph nodes.
Yes.
So therefore, I've still got enough meat on there where I can take the lymph nodes out.
Okay.
All right. So it's easy to work with. Please, if y'all do want to contact me, don't leave it in a black bag for a week and a half or 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. That's
and
right.
not in the freezer.
Yeah.
I will turn that down, but they bring them to me. I'll skin them out, and normally I'll put them in the freezer because I get backed up so much. Like right now,
You're backed up.
I've got 50 or 60 in the freezer right now.
Do you really?
And yesterday, I had several people that called me that
Yeah.
one of the processors just got finished with their deer, and matter of fact, both of them are females that killed these deer. They're bringing them to me. Hopefully, when I leave the show this morning.
And you'll take this. You're not going to do any. You take a lot of time to do this the way you want it to be done, because it's going to have your name on it. I mean, it's stamped by you,
Right.
and you. But at the same time, do they make suggestions, or I didn't know what to do.
Well, yeah. I mean, I have just a basic, and the basic is it's a white skull with the horns, and it goes on an old piece of barn wood or some live oak or something like that, and that's my basic. But
Yeah.
I have other people that want things done, and they kind of tell me the way they want it. I just done one the other day. It was like a picture frame,
Oh, yeah.
and inside that picture frame was an old piece of barn tin roof.
You sent me a picture of one that you did was really cool. I mean, that you had taken. I've still got it because I'm going to send. I don't know if I sent that to you or not.
I do them with American flags in the background.
Yeah, with American flag and everything. When I looked at that and I said, "Wow, that's pretty cool." Where is that down through here? I think I still got that if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, there it is right there. Yeah, I think I sent that to you if I'm not mistaken, Guy. But to do this, the Euro mount.
Mm-hmm.
Now that name.
It's European.
European.
And that's where it started at. It was over in Europe. European mount.
Yeah.
And now, it's moved here. It's a big thing. It doesn't take up as much room on your wall as what a shoulder mount would take.
That's right. Yeah.
And I have had people tell me before that my wife will not allow me to have a deer head on the wall inside the house.
Yeah.
But then when they see the work that I do on this, they go in the living room.
They go in the living room, don't they?
Their wife will allow them to have it in the living room.
Because you get pretty good freedom here. I've got the big mount that my friend James Edgar did long time ago. James did it for me and surprised me with it and everything like that. But it takes up a pretty good amount of space in my office.
It does.
Okay? But this enables you to have the memory and at the same time not the space.
And it also makes the horns look a lot bigger.
It does. Did you notice that, Frank?
I noticed that you smiled big when you heard it.
Yeah, I did.
It does make them look bigger.
Well, I've only seen pictures of what Vic has done for me here, but I hadn't seen it till it comes in, and I'm thinking it's grown since I got it to Vic because it looks bigger the way they did it. But I know folks out there, our season is over. We're in that final stage. We're in the waterfowl season, and then we've got the young sportsman waterfowl hunt after that. But the deer season kind of ended abruptly for me. Of course, I got the flu, and I missed the last 2 weeks of the season. But last year we had so many more days because of CWD.
Mm-hmm.
But I did get an email from the TWRA that my deer was CWD free.
That's good.
Which I was. We talked to Jeremy Dennison on last week's show about it. Quickly, I got that report to do that. But that hold that thing up again for me, Vic. I just got to look at it on the radio. Let me give you viewing from left to right here. Okay, that's my 8-point. Okay, now he's taken. What is this? Just some cedar? What is that?
It's an old piece of oak.
Old piece of oak, and he's taken that tail to add to it, and you'll see it on Larry. Can you get that on the website, please?
Yes, I can.
Blown up, make it look bigger than what it is, but to do that. But it takes something. I guess you've had unusual things too, request, haven't you, Vic? Has somebody told you, or do they give you pretty well freedom to do what you want?
Well, I really like it when somebody comes up and says, well, I'll spend this amount of money, so do me something that you think's really cool.
Yeah.
That gets my mind to wondering, okay, what can I do that I would really like to, hang in my house?
Right, yeah.
And I've, gone out and found old pieces of driftwood and different things.
And you've put some artistic touches to them, too.
I do, yes.
And that adds a lot to it, I think, as far as the size-wise and everything.
Sure.
Any unusual mounts you've done?
I've done alligator.
I heard you say that earlier. You've
and
done
I
an
won't do it anymore.
You did one alligator?
I did two.
You did two alligators. Oh, we got 2 minutes.
Bobcats, coyotes, beaver.
Well, I know the alligator had to be. It's all head. I mean,
it is. But the bad thing about it is all the teeth fall out. And you have to remember which hole that all these teeth go back into.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
So it's a puzzle.
Well, Vic Thayer, thank you, buddy, and the memory makers that you did. And I know the next guest on today's show, Randy Zellers, is going to talk about some memory makers. You kill one of them big elk in Arkansas.
That's on my bucket list.
That's a bucket list, and I guarantee you, they're not going to bring you a Euro mount on that elk.
Not a 7x7.
Not a 7x7.
7x6.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Thank you, Vic. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this third Saturday, January the 18th, which means Frank Barton is in studio as our co-host. And Frank, I know we've talked a little bit about everything. Got dogs, got some waterfowl in there, and now we're going back to God's country, Frank. We're going to Arkansas. All right, is that okay with you? I mean,
we're going to hear about probably when people think about hunting in Arkansas,
yeah,
they do not think about this.
They don't, do they? Well, but they should.
We're going to find out about it.
We're going to find out about it because I was there when it started, and that's what makes it so special. We're going to recap the Arkansas elk season, and I can just you talking about one of my favorite memories. I got two favorite memories. And Randy Zeller, I'm going to let you listen to this before I introduce you here, but I got two favorite memories. Number one is when Janet Huckabee and myself went to the Ouachita Mountains and pulled a little bear cub out of a den. And that picture was on the Commercial Appeal front page when I retired, of me holding that bear. And that's number one memory. The second memory was being there when that gentleman from Michigan bid $42,500, I think it was, to kill a 7x7 in the very first Arkansas elk hunt. And Randy Zellers, y'all guys been making memories since then, right, Randy?
Oh yeah. That's when people think about Arkansas, obviously the very first thing that comes to mind is rice and ducks.
That's right.
But Arkansas, it's actually we have been known for a while as the only state where a person can legally harvest an alligator and an elk. So I think we have another state that's coming on board. I'm not sure which one it is. I think it's one of the Carolinas.
It's not Tennessee. I can tell you that. So
no alligager there.
Now we got elk and everything, but again, we got Randy Zellers with us. Of course, Randy's got ties from this area and always always willing to help us out. He is Assistant Communications Chief for the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission based out of Little Rock, and we got the final totals in. Of course, we post, Guy Trevo, we post all the information from the Arkansas Game and Fish. Goes right under that link on the website, LarryRay.com. And I know all you guys do a great job, Randy, of posting that information, and we get it out instantly, whether it's on Facebook or on our website. But the elk season,
we appreciate it.
Elk season always stands out. And I said, Randy, let's talk a little about this because you guys, I guess what we got 20 elk killed. Is that right?
That's right. This year it was a little lower than usual with 20 elk killed.
What is normal? I mean, what have we been killing? I thought we killed more than that.
Yeah, normally, before CWD showed up in the state, before we found it in the state, I mean, our harvests were sitting in the 40s usually.
That's what I thought.
Every year. And then when CWD first was found, we did want to look at that elk herd because elk are much more nomadic than white-tailed deer. So they did want to harvest a little bit more of the elk and kind of keep the herd that we have contained to the few counties where they're supposed to be. And so we did have an increase for about 3 years, and now we've tightened up a lot of the permits and cut back on a lot of the permits to maintain a healthy population now.
Well, I think it's pretty easy to say it's healthy when 9 bulls all had racks of 5x5.
Oh yeah. No, when hunters when they harvest
here.
a bull here, they don't get many raghorns.
No,
they're usually good bulls.
And if I'm not mistaken, of course, the season just ended back in October and went into October, November. You had your youth hunt and things along that line. But when I was reading the press release about it, what kind of blew my mind, the hunting permits, May 1st through June 1st. Then you have the drawing at the Buffalo River Elk Festival in Jasper, which I keep up with because my good friend Glenn Wheeler is the sheriff of that county.
Yep.
So I know Glenn, and he keeps up with it. But 66, here you go, Frank. Here you go. 6,600 people applied online for the permits in 2024.
That's right. I mean, we'll have. I mean, and that's pretty common that we'll have that many folks apply
for 20.
Sometimes, some years it's been as high as 12,000.
It has been, yeah.
Yeah.
But the draw itself to see these amazing critters, and I was telling that that I was there for the first one. I was trying to find my story from the commercial appeal about being over there and staying in that motel. The hotel that the Game and Fish put me up with, the guy had a bear in the hotel. I can't remember what. I don't know if you've heard of that story, but
no, I hadn't heard that.
Oh yeah, the bear was in the hotel. I mean, that was his. And I said, "What have I gotten into?" I thought Joe Mosby set me up or something along this line. But the tradition. How many years now have we been hunting elk in Arkansas?
It was 1998 was the first one when it opened up.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going what? We're getting more than I can count. Math ain't my strong suit, but we're approaching 30 years.
Yeah, you're over a quarter of a century, and the object here is still now. Of course, you have to be a resident now. Is that right, Randy?
That's right. You do for the public draw.
Yeah.
You do have to be an Arkansas resident. Now there is also private land that these elk live on.
Yes. And
the landowners of that private land, they can allow somebody to hunt on their private land. That's managed through a quota system instead of a draw. And anybody that has permission from one of those landowners can hunt that. And I believe it's an extra $300 to your license for an elk permit for that.
It's a lot cheaper than it was.
That's available for non-residents as well. Yeah. That's the few non-residents that we get that will harvest elk. They usually know somebody or have paid a lease or something like that from one of those local landowners.
It pays to know people, because I know back in the early days,
the
Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation was the benefactor, I think, of some of these.
That's right. We usually auction. Well, we donate 3 tags.
Okay, there you go.
And they would be auctioned off. One was at the Arkansas Game and Fish Foundation's annual banquet here in Little Rock. One would be at the Arkansas Wildlife Federation's annual banquet, and then the other one would be for the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation.
There you go.
And the proceeds from all of those auctioned off tags went straight back into habitat management for those elk on the public land that's on the Buffalo River and Gene Rush Wildlife Management Area.
And we can look at these and say you got, 5 counties, Boone, Carroll, Madison, Newton, and Searcy counties. But not only is this a major event with the festival and everything like that, but I know you guys have done studies and things like that. How many people are drawn to that area just to hear and see elk?
Oh, yeah.
Randy?
Every year, every year from usually they'll start really piling up in late September. That's when the bugling goes on, and we'll have classes full of school kids.
We got to go to that, Frank. We got to get in your big truck, Frank, and go over there sometime.
And it's just really cool. And we have a nature center that's right there in the town of Ponca. Honestly, you've got the nature center, a post office, and maybe 2 or 3 residences, and that's the town of Ponca.
That's right.
But I mean, it's a very small place, but it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And you go out there, and there are a lot of elk that'll be right there along an area called Boxley Valley.
That's it.
That's right there beside the Buffalo River, and it's absolutely amazing to watch those elk. Those bulls when you get to about early October, those bulls they've rounded up their harems of cows and they're tending and they're fighting off satellite bulls. You can sit there from the roadside and watch bulls
videos.
Fight.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And so we say the economic impact of elk is pretty amazing, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, and like I said, the town of Ponca is so small. The number of people living in Ponca during that elk season, thanks to the tourism, it skyrockets 50,000
yes.
50,000%,
bumper to bumper,
because we only have about 10 folks live there anyway.
That's right. So. Yeah. Well, when I look at this, and so the elk herd, Randy, as far as we know, is thriving. Are we doing good? I mean, is it?
It's in a stable position. I mean, it's kind of. Like I said, when chronic wasting disease was first discovered in Arkansas, that's a disease that affects elk and deer, and it was discovered in Arkansas back in 2016. When that was first discovered, that was one thing. One part of the management was to manage those elk and maintain that this is their boundary to help kind of prevent the spread of the disease, because they can carry it just like deer can carry it.
That's right.
So that was one thing but now that the herd was dropped down to that manageable level, it's sitting in a very healthy spot. Of the 20 bulls that were harvested, or of the 20 elk that were harvested this year, all of them have to be tested for CWD. Okay. That's mandatory. Yeah. And only one came back positive for CWD, which that's good news.
That's good news.
And you see that. I mean, the elk seem to be a bit more resistant to CWD, especially the effects of CWD. They seem to be a little bit more. It takes a little bit longer for it to show up in an elk. So that is something that these elk that were harvested, only seeing 1 out of 20 that were harvested, that's still good. Really good. Yeah. We're still pretty happy about that.
I know we got a couple of minutes here, Randy, and I know that folks out there, I know I got a lot of listeners in East Arkansas, Jonesboro, Forest City, of course Marion over there, because they follow Frank Barton over there a lot. Frank, all your people listen to this show because third Saturday.
There are a few.
There are a few. Your family, I know. But so May the 1st, will that be the permit time again, Randy? May 1st through June 1st?
Well, there are a couple of things to be keep an eye on. May 1st through June 1st is when you can apply for an elk permit, one of the public land permits.
Okay.
They have not set the number of permits we'll have available this year. I imagine it'll be similar. It'll probably be sitting in that 20 permit range again.
And then the festival.
The
festival.
That's the big one to really pay attention to, because if you want an elk permit through the draw, your best odds are at the festival. We reserve 3 permits out of what is allotted to be on-site draws for people who register at the festival.
So 620 registered at the festival this past year. And and I know these people came from all over. Randy, we got to let you go, buddy. Thank you, as always. Again, folks, go to LarryRay.com. We've got this story posted under the Arkansas Game and Fish link, and we stay in touch. You guys do a great job, Randy. Tell everybody hello for us, and Happy New Year, buddy, okay?
Happy New Year to you. I hope to talk to you soon.
All right, Randy, thank you. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and then Frank's going to wrap this baby up. We're going to something that happened in 1865.
April 27th.
April 27th, 1865. That's right. Just had the, 75th, 100 and something years anniversary. Oh, we got to go. All right, we'll be right back. We're going to talk about the Sultana. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Good Saturday morning, everyone. Once again, it is the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray, the fastest 90 minutes in outdoor broadcasting that you can hear in the Mid-South. Yes. All things that you want to find out about what's going on in the outdoor world, you can hear about it with Outdoors with Larry Ray. Yes. Bird watching, hunting, fishing, kayaking, retriever dog work, all types of stuff you can find out. And now, without further ado, the one and only, the oracle of the outdoors, Larry Ray.
Yeah, Trebo, can you get that on the website with that exact description right there in a little corner with little Frank's picture with his mouth moving and Frank saying that? Thank you, Frank.
Okay.
You don't know, every third Saturday, Frank makes
That's a vision that I don't really like to. I'm not doing real good with that vision.
Yes, you are. Yeah. Anyway, when I get Frank here on the third Saturday, he's got to come a long way. He's got to go across the river, drive through downtown Memphis to get out here to our luxurious accommodations. And I said, well, we got to close out this week's show with something that will tie in with Frank. And then I understand that he's in charge of the bank account here. So I said, we better get Frank on. But no, I'm a history buff, and I've really read so much since my friendship with Frank Barton about the Sultana, April 27th, 1865, and the books, Jerry Potter, some of the books I've read Frank has put on me. And I said, well, I am getting so much good information from a certain person over at the Sultana Museum that why don't we get him on there? So, Frank, who have we got on here next?
We have Jeff Kollath, our executive director, the person that have tasked to guide us in opening up this museum, getting it built.
Yes.
And then opening it up and designing the exhibits. And Jeff has been busy doing all that stuff.
And so we've got Jeff on the line this morning. Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, guys. How are you?
I know this is a lot different from where you came from with Stacks and things along that line. And I know we talked to you when you first took this task up, and you explained some of the reasons. So we've been going for a while now, Jeff. And
sure.
You guys are doing a great job on Facebook. You got people coming from all over to see the facility. So give us an update on where we stand on this Saturday, January the 18th.
Well, I'd love it if I could say it's been warm enough where we could put a new roof on the addition to the front of the gymnasium, but it's cold today, so it's going and probably a little rainy. But no, things are coming along nicely. With any construction project, it certainly takes a minute, and there's always going to be delays and things. But the folks we're working with have been great. And so the old gym and the office space and the rooms around that are really come together nicely. And I've never seen so much sheetrock in my life. Everywhere, and it's a nice layer of dust on your jacket when you go in from all the sanding that they're doing. But it's really starting to come together, and we've adjusted our schedule a little bit, but we're still planning on opening the building itself in late October of this year, 2025, and then opening the main exhibition hall with our permanent exhibitions on the 161st anniversary in April of 2026. So it's a pretty, got some big tasks ahead of us, and it's a pretty aggressive timeline, but I think we're pretty excited about working on it. So it's going to be a great project.
And I know you mentioned in there, Jeff, the 1938 brick building that was used as the Marion High School gymnasium. I think my wife played in that place because she's from up the road in Joyner, Arkansas, and her team won the state championship when she was a junior. And every time we go to the Shake Shack, which Frank, I got to get back over and meet you over there for that. It's about that time again, bad back and all. But we go by that, and I'll say she said, well, I think I played there. To think that this facility, and what's it going to mean for the community, Frank Barton? I mean, that's your roots. That's where you grown up, and everything. What's this museum going to mean to the community?
Well, Crittenden County it's unique in that we're right across the river from Memphis, so we have all the amenities that Memphis has. And sometimes we can lose a bit of our identity because of that. People, but the museum for Crittenden County and specifically for Marion will be it's going to be a destination that we really don't have anywhere else in the county. It will be, when it's completed, it will be the largest attraction that we'll have in the county, it's just if you drive by now, you can start to see how it's going to change what downtown Marion looks like.
Yes,
because it's on the main drag. And the facelift that's being done to the front of it is really starting to pop. And if you may have been used to driving down and seeing what it looked like with that brick building that was there. But when you start driving by now, you really don't see that brick building anymore. You're starting to see a new museum, a new structure going up, and it's going to. We're excited because it's going to change. It's going to change what people think about our area.
And Jeff, I know you're there every day, and so for those of us that might come over once every 2 weeks or whatever it might mean, it's probably harder for you to you want it to go quickly. And to us, it comes along, and it looks like, man, you've made a lot of progress here. And then I look and see you still have people coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our current little history room on Washington Street, right by the county courthouse.
Yeah.
Allie B's Coffee Shop is open Thursday to Saturday, 10 to 4. So
all right.
And it's free admission. Of course, we'd love some donations in our donation box, or buy a T-shirt when you come over. But Melody is the person that will greet you and tell you some great stories. And she's a retired school teacher from Marion, and is, every day I go in there, she's got her nose in a book, and she's researching and trying to learn more about she can't learn about all 2,000 plus people on there, but I think she's trying. So
well, I know it's got that mystique about it. Of course, I don't know how old the courthouse is. The courthouse is pretty old.
Courthouse is very old. Yeah,
that's a landmark for Crittenden County. There, maybe one of the oldest courthouses.
Ancient,
isn't it? I don't know what year that courthouse is, but it has the mystique of being back in those days, early days. Maybe some. There's no telling who went by there on the railroad track trying to get out of town. When
the river used to come up there too.
Yeah, the river used to come up there too, and you had that old hotel, that was there forever.
It's being remodeled right
now. It's pretty striking photos of the 1912 flood.
There you go. Yeah, the 1912 flood.
The main drag there.
Yeah, so I think Johnny Cash brought it up. I'm thinking this is going to be, and you guys hope it will be. I've been to the Johnny Cash Museum in Dyce. That's a really cool place to go. It really shows what it was like when the floods and Johnny Cash growing up with the theater. I think this, for you guys, is going to, it's going to put Marion on the map for those of us that like history and things along that line. So this is going to be an important part of the community, isn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, our focus and what this whole thing is organized around is obviously around the story of the Sultana and the men and women that were on the boat, and those who perished and those who survived, and then obviously the story of the rescuers and the efforts to save those folks. But also, we have included in our mission is to really, tell the story of the communities that we're in. So Marion and our neighbors and Crittenden County. The 200th anniversary of Crittenden County is coming up later this year, October.
Really? Okay.
2025. So we'll be celebrating that around the time we open the building. So, we want to be a hub we can't do everything, but we want to be a hub for history, for arts, for culture in Marion, West Memphis, Crittenden County, and hopefully we'll draw some folks from your side of the river, too.
Oh, I think so. There's no doubt about it. And I know, Frank, you got ties there. Your great-great-grandfather, is that right?
Great-great-grandfather was one of the rescuers.
One of the rescuers, and it's still the greatest maritime disaster, right?
In United States history.
And we got different figures on how many people perished that awful night. But it's... What's the latest?
I think a conservative number is going to be 1,500.
Yeah, a conservative number.
Conservative number.
Yeah, and so you're going to tell the story from the Marion side of the story.
There'll be several stories that'll be told, because it's what you'll find out is people keep asking us, are you gonna where's the boat? Are you gonna have the boat there?
The boat? You're going to bring the boat up?
No, we're not going to. The story of the Sultana is. It's not the boat. It's not like
it's the rescue
and
like
the
people.
Titanic. The story of the Titanic is the boat.
Yes, yeah.
That's not the story of the Sultana.
No.
The story of the Sultana is the people on the boat and what happened to them.
And not only the people on
afterwards.
the boat, but those who
the people on the boat, the people that were in the community, that rescued them, the people in Memphis that took care of them.
That's right. Yeah.
Afterwards. And then the way this country forgot those people.
And so this facility is, we only got a couple of minutes, Jeff. This facility is, you're still taking donations. So the entire project is going to end up, how much, Jeff? What are we talking about here, budget-wise?
Well, I mean, we try. There's the number that you try to raise, and then there's the number that you end up raising, and then there's the number that I think we're going to be able to operate with. So right now, it's remarkable that Mr. Barton and Judge Fogelman and others on the board have done raising, close to or just over $10 million.
That's great.
For the entire project, and obviously, like with any construction project, we've had to pull money from the fun stuff.
Yes.
To pay for the not fun stuff like roofs.
Yes. Yes.
So right now, we've started the fundraising machine back up again, and really trying to raise enough that when the doors open for the main exhibit hall in April 2026, people see something that they're never going to forget.
All right, tell our listeners how they can participate in the fundraising. We've got to get out of here, so tell them, Jeff.
Sure. Well, you can always visit us at sultanadisastermuseum.com, visit our Facebook page. Lots of ways to donate through there, or you can, come and visit us in Marion, and we'll gladly take your money there too. So
That's
lots of ways
right.
to get involved, and hopefully we can bring this project to. It'll never be done, but it'll be, finished. The hard part's done, raising the money to build it. Now we got to raise the money to make it really memorable, remarkable.
We're going to make it happen. Jeff, thank you so much for taking time to be with us, buddy, and we'll stay in touch, okay?
Absolutely, anytime.
All right, thank you, Jeff. All right.
All right, take care, guys.
All right. Next week we'll be back in here. Ron Wong will be in, David Beal. I'm going to try to get David. I'm going to talk a little fishing next week, and gearing up toward the end of the month when the duck season ends and Frank can go back to normal, whatever he does.
Training dogs.
Thank you. Guy Trebo, say goodbye to us.
Goodbye.
All right, that's Guy Trebo. And remember, as I do every week, thank you, Shelby, for calling. I'd remind you that it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. What else, Frank?
God bless the USA.